Rohit Sharma or no Rohit Sharma, the story of the Indian batting lineup continues to be the same throughout this Border Gavaskar Trophy, barring one innings in Perth and to an extent at the Gabba. He showed some resistance. Other than that, it's been pretty much similar story. Much like Virat Kohli's dismissals, the story of Indian batting lineup has been similar, and 185 is what they've managed on day one of the Sydney Test match. Shashwat, Siddharth with me. What do you think the Indian team is feeling right now? Okay, down in the dumps, happy.
Pumped up after Bumrah got the better of Khwaja again for the sixth time in the series. But the batters, I think they have continued their
Were there some
horror
verbals
show.
with Constance again?
Yeah, so basically
tell us the
Bumrah
story.
was charging in. He wanted to make sure that there is one more over before the play is eventually, the day is basically done. So Khwaja was taking his own sweet time. Then Bumrah just, talked to the umpire that, you should not take that much time. Let's just get going. Want to have one more over. Then Constance, he had a word with Bumrah there. In a couple of balls, Bumrah got the better of Khwaja. And then Bumrah be like, yeah, Constance, talk now.
Was it like that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
it
Virat
was.
also went and
Just look at this now. Yeah,
showed
look
his
at
anger
this.
towards him.
But you say that Virat does this more when there is Bumrah the captain.
But today's Bumrah is the captain.
This
That's what I'm
is
saying.
brilliant.
So you say that he does it more
See,
when
see,
there
see.
is.
Virat in his best element on the field.
So you were trying to say he becomes more animated when Bumrah is captain.
No, I don't think so. I think Gulati sir felt this.
You
Well,
felt
yeah.
that.
I felt this in the Perth test also, and I'm feeling it once again. Yeah.
I think he's been the same all throughout the series. We've seen him.
When the shoulder push happened when Bumrah was captain.
when Rohit was the
Rohit.
captain. Yeah.
I'm not
He's
saying
been the
that,
same.
he was less active under
No,
Rohit
so you
Sharma's
were trying to
captaincy.
say like during the Perth test, like there were so many reports that it's Virat who's captaining. Most of it. So you were trying to say that he's also captaining. Aggression he shows anyways, but here he's
I think he's more involved. I think he wants to be more involved, to be very honest, because any which ways he isn't really contributing, much with the bat there. So just wants to make sure that, he
he's
beats the
con-
senior player, the respected senior player for that matter, who is stepping up, talking to the bowlers, talking to Mia bhai, साइड से डाल उसको पसंद नहीं है वहां से.
he's
So I think,
contributing
yeah.
off the field. He's definitely contributing. He
Like
wants.
how?
many
Did
ways.
you just say that he's Mr. Fix It?
No, I've never said it.
Or
even
am I
once.
putting
You're-
words into your
you're
mouth?
putting
Let him
words
explain.
in.
Let him explain. Huh.
He's definitely trying to help the team's cause off the field. When you see again,
How is he helping the team?
that's
off the
why
field?
we all love Virat Kohli so much because
Off
he,
the field is not with the team mostly. So how is he helping? Was it a laugh? He's not.
he's not there with the team. You're saying most of the time
off
off the field.
Where is he? The team. And that's his right. He can be wherever he
That's his right, definitely. But
wants. He's
still,
traveling also separate.
Video calls.
is he?
Everyone knows.
No,
he's
but that too
travelling
even
with
Bumrah is traveling separately on occasions. But New Year also everyone spent together. New Year,
Everyone was there together.
yeah.
Okay. So how is he contributing off the field?
He's giving his ideas. He's telling what the Indian team should do moving ahead. Who's the right captaincy option according to him? Who isn't the right captaincy option according to him? And should Rohit be part of the team? Shouldn't he be part of the team? Then how will he? See, then you guys
How do
say.
you know he's contributing?
Then you guys say that he's not performing with the bat. One person can't do everything, na? Showing aggression on the field, trying to do better for Indian cricket. Then you want him to score runs also. Come on, Gulati sir.
What
You
is
can't go on
Shashwat?
Shashwat
do-
is being
Twitter-
cocky.
Twitter handle and Instagram handle. Please announce it on the show.
Shashwat's former test cricketer.
That's your Twitter handle.
No.
Squash one.
Can
That's
you
his
please-
Twitter handle. Please.
No, that's
find
not
him
my
there.
Twitter handle.
Whatever.
Twitter
Insta-
handle is very simple,
Insta
Shashwat
hand-
Bhalla.
There. You
And I've
find
been
him.
very active on it lately also, so yeah.
So find him there. Only okay. We'll talk about various aspects of the game. Let's start with that last fiery bit that happened. So as Siddharth here was explaining, Khwaja was wasting time, and Bumrah at the top of his run-up said, "Come on, get on with it." And Constance also chipped in, and then once he took the wicket, Bumrah, very unlike Bumrah, वैसे
Yeah.
doesn't get this animated, came to Constance like You were saying something, that kind of expression.
Just like Dinesh Ramdin went to Viv Richards.
But this was no. But that was like, in hindsight. We just went straight up onto his face. What did that tell you? That entire thing, and then of course everyone else chipped in. Virat again went very close to Constant. What does it tell you? Like, this team is really fired up. What is the first thing it tells you?
I think the one wicket that we were talking on even in the innings break, I think one wicket would have definitely put India a little upwards as far as this innings was concerned, especially after the kind of low score that the Indian team got to. But I think it's all fun and games. It's just in the game. We saw Constance also being really chirpy, really upbeat about how Australian bowlers went about their business. He was really upfront about it. He was really, sort of constantly wanting the crowd to chip in. He was constantly having a verbal exchange. So if that's exactly what the Indian team has also done, I think there's nothing wrong with that. And unlike Vishy sir, I don't think that you need to be performing to be doing that. So Sam Constance has also been having his fatigue, doing a lot of fun while Australians are bowling, and so is Indian team. And as far as off field is concerned, I don't think that's really sort of have had an impact off the field, because we saw when the Indian team went to the Australian Prime Minister's place, there Sam Constance sort of got himself clicked with Virat Kohli. There was also a picture doing the rounds where both his brothers, Sam Constance's brothers, were also talking to Virat Kohli a lot. They also got themselves clicked with him. So I think it's just off the field. Both the teams sort of realize that on the field, it's for the team's cause. It's just they are fired up. So I think that's why. So I'm not going to go too much into it. And it's nice to see aggression from both the sides. It's not just one-sided. Even Australians are doing it, and so is India.
I think India really wanted to put, both the batters, Australian opening batters, under pressure. Something that has been the case throughout the series now, except for that 60 odd that Sam Constance got at the MCG. I think Australia's opening batters have really struggled, be it Nathan McSweeney, Usman Khawaja for that matter. Before the beginning of the Border Gavaskar Trophy, Khawaja hadn't really gotten out to Bumrah in Test cricket in a total of 155 deliveries, and now in the BGT has gotten out to him a total of 6 times now, including this dismissal at the SCG. So I think India, obviously, they really wanted that extra over, but then, couldn't really get it. But Bumrah once again, putting it in the slot and making sure that he once again gets, Khawaja, and he was successful in doing that. And I think India's celebrations do show that they are really charged up. Maybe they feel that whatever total that they've got on the scoreboard is enough to make sure that they can put the Australian batting under pressure. Let's just be very clear about it, that Australia's batting is equally as fragile as as India's batting is.
Now you can't say that.
No, I'll get to the batting later. We'll discuss. I just want to stick to this thing. What happened? What it tells me is that it's fine to be aggressive, as you guys are pointing out, Shashwat. They are also fine to be aggressive. My point is, here's a 19-year-old, has he gotten under your skin that the entire team is... I mean, to me, it tells me that one 19-year-old playing his second test match is so dominating your minds that you have to prove a point to him. Whether you're a Virat Kohli, whether you're a Jasprit Bumrah, I mean, for you, he should not matter. Like, if it was a Steve Smith, I can understand, right? You're trying to disrupt him. He's a big player, and he's saying something. The best way to handle a kid would be like, you're a kid, and we don't even pay serious attention. By doing this, you're making him a serious contender. By doing this, you're bringing him at level of some top level player. You are Jasprit Bumrah and Virat Kohli, two of the greatest cricketers of this generation. And this one 19-year-old, by saying a few things, has upset you. That, if you allow yourself to do that, more and more teams will realize that, and without disrupting their own mindset, employ 1 or 2 young players to get under your skin. That way, your top order or your top stars will just start getting bothered with it. I can't believe a player playing, and I think it's really interesting the way he plays that first delivery to Jasprit Bumrah, dances down the wicket and hits him. And obviously that played on their mind. What has happened in the previous test matches played on your mind. But you can't allow a 19-year-old to dominate your mindset at the moment. Your focus needs to be on the game. You can give it back when you're getting it. maybe when he comes out to bat, give it to him, with a few bouncers. Let him hit. Don't even speak to him. Let him rub where he gets hurt and move on. That's how you not bully. That's not the right word, but you really let the young kid know what he's dealing with. When you're joining in the fun and trying to he must be smiling today. You must be like, look at me, I'm just nobody. He's so bothered about me. Yeah. I am the focus. I have become the star.
But
you allowed him to become like
but
that.
the Indian team only started
That's
this,
what I'm
right?
saying.
Yeah.
You're
with
allowing
Virat
him to
Kohli.
become
Yeah.
larger than he is. Who's he?
He only got that confidence to be, he's telling the crowd to continue speaking. He's talking to the batters continuously because he got all of that attention after Virat Kohli sort of bullied him.
But he's now playing on that, and you're
Yeah.
allowing him.
Yeah, and
you put him in the same pedestal.
You're helping him even further by today.
Exactly.
What
You
happened?
should not even have a word with him. Bigger teams of the past, the big daddy teams of the past. They won't even, they'll swat youngsters like a fly. Like, who are you? That sort of a thing. You could do that. Yeah. The same level players, you compete with them. Anyway, that is done. India has gotten a breakthrough. They've gotten one down. Overall, now looking at the match situation, you think they're far behind this test match? Australia ahead, or it's even keels, or what do you think?
I think 60-40 in favor of Australia as of now, where the test match
Why?
stands right now. It would have been even more if you would not have gotten this breakthrough, but I just feel the runs are a little less. Going ahead in this test match, the wicket might ease out a bit. I'm not going too much in as far as the conditions are concerned, because one day, if tomorrow is a sunny day, then I think it's going to be even more in favor of the Australian team, because conditions will also flatten out. It'll get a little hot as well. But just giving 60-40 because runs on the board are way too less. If it would have been 210, 220, it could have been a different ball game altogether. Just 180 odd runs plus the Australian team, I keep their batters a little ahead. We have started to see Smith scoring runs, Labus Kakne scoring runs, and their middle order, Travis Head, we know what he can do. Webster making his debut. Their batting order gives me a lot of more confidence. And so does their bowling as they performed. Indian bowling, again, I don't know too much about Prasidh Krishna. How much of impact will he have going into this test match? And bowling is again a problem. Jasprit Bumrah, till when is he actually going to bowl full tilt? That is also to be seen as we go ahead in this test match.
I think two things for that matter. This doesn't really look a traditional SCG wicket wherein you get some purchase for the first couple of hours and then it becomes easy to bat. I think there's a lot more green tinge on it, and obviously the bowlers are extracting a lot of seam movement. So any which ways, I think India would really fancy their chances come day two. And secondly, I think in case of let's say India's bowling also, I think once again Bumrah will have to shoulder most of the workload, something that has been the case in the past 4 test matches or so. So I think India would really feel that they obviously under par as far as their total of 185 goes in the first innings, but then I think the way the bowlers have gone about their work in the first 4 test matches, I think India would really know that if they can get a couple of more wickets early on day 2, then we could be really in for an exciting match.
See, overall, I mean, first things first, I think this is the greenest pitch that I've ever seen at the SCG in living memory.
Correct.
And I've been watching Test cricket either on TV or live in Australia from 92 onwards. And since that time, I can't remember this green track at the SCG. So it has to be the greenest track. First things first. We'll get to the toss and what India could have done. That's a little later. But where I think the match is, to me, it's giving like the Perth vibes. Similar test match. India batted first, didn't get too many runs, but then they came back and dismissed the Australian team, at a lower score than what even they had managed. The only difference is, while it's giving me Perth vibes based on the condition, so I think it's going to be helpful all along. The only difference being at that time, the Australian batting lineup was coming a bit untested and unsure of themselves. Now some of their batters, especially Labus Kakne and Smith, have gotten runs under their belt, as well as Travis Head. Yes, he had a bit of a blip last test match, but overall. So I think that's the difference. And then one weak link of Mitch Stark is also not there this time. So that's the only difference. But I think the conditions are going to be helpful for the Indian bowlers, which is why I don't think, on the face of it, 185, I could have very easily have said, below par total, down and out. But no, I think this test match can be exciting. I think India can get them dismissed for a round. You'll need some good bowling. But the two things that are just holding me not to say that it'll go Perth way. One, Australia have gotten some sort of confidence under their belt, and they're leading the series. That also helps. And secondly, again, I'm a bit worried about India's selection, like the kind of bowling that they've gone with. They've effectively playing, three bowlers. You can look at Jadeja and two fast bowlers. Prasidh Krishna, inexperience. You're not going with out and out bowlers as such. And that is your fixation with all-rounders. Again, I may sound like a stuck record, but this is something that we've been saying from the start. You're typically playing 5 batters, 5 regular batters, and about 3 out-and-out experienced bowlers, or 3.5 at best. Rest you're going with all-rounders. See, again, Washington Sundar, Nitish Reddy are not going to be your bowlers. They're hardly bowling any overs anyway, which means you don't trust them too much. And you have another inexperienced fast bowler in Prasidh Krishna coming back, after a gap. So, and then again, Jadeja hasn't been that successful. So your bowling lineup is an issue. If Siraj and Bumrah don't do it for you, then I'm a bit worried. That's the only thing that's holding me back. Otherwise, I think this test match could have been exciting. That takes me to the next question. What do you make of the decision at the toss?
Okay, I'll go. I think it was a good decision. You really wanted to bat first, irrespective of how the pitch was. I think this green tinge basically reminds me of the Sydney deck that was there for Australia versus Pakistan game in 2009 when Kamran Akmal dropped those catches and Australia went on to win the test that they should have actually lost. That was the last time maybe I saw a Sydney track that was that much green. But I think if we talk about India's decision to bat first here, I think it's a good decision. You really wanted
Overcast condition, fresh pitch, juicy
Still,
pitch.
I think you really didn't want to just take all these things into consideration, and you knew that Sydney is traditionally good for batting. And once again, if
but
you
not
look
this,
at
we don't get this kind of pitch.
Yeah,
a nice brown pitch.
see, if we look at the way some of the dismissals of the Indian batters happened, I think it was down to their own mistakes only. So it isn't really that Australians bowled really well. Yes, Boland is definitely an exception. It was very economical, took a total of 4 wickets also. But then most of the dismissals, if we see, I think it is basically down to your own mistakes, and that's why the scoreline now reads 185 all out.
I think we always try to sort of find ways to sort of cover up for what our batting has done. Now we are looking at the toss season, but I think that it was absolutely the correct decision.
There were overcast conditions.
No, even
greenish pitch.
but even in Brisbane, I remember
and you saw lots of seam movement.
Yeah. Even in Brisbane, I remember we decided to bowl first over there, but I think that was also a wrong call because again, we don't know how well the Australians could have negated this situation. If the weather would have opened up a bit, it could have been absolutely a wrong decision to make. It's always the batting that doesn't perform. Even if it would have been an open sky and there would have been no overcast conditions, you would have been in the same situation. So I'm not going to blame the conditions over here. I think you needed runs on the board first because again, if Australia would have come out, you would have been playing bowlers less. They would have gotten to 300, and then we would have been dwelling about the fact that you should have decided to bat first at the toss. So I think that was a good decision to begin the day, at least. Even in the morning during the preview, I thought that that's at least going in the right direction for a change for the first time in the series, where you are sort of trusting your batting lineup again, but clearly you should not be trusting your batting lineup.
We'll get to the batting lineup, but I agree it's a tough call to have taken. It was a very close call. You could have gone either way, which is why sometime in situation like this, it's a good toss to lose. Let the opposition batter decide. But I think the call is taken. Maybe India was bullish about the fact that what happened in Perth as well. If it's a good pitch, we'll even get the opposition dismissed. And the good thing for India is that it's not that the conditions were only prevalent there on day 1. Day 2 is also expected to be cloudy. The pitch is still going to be assisting some fast bowling. It can even get quicker. One thing you're seeing is a lot of seam movement, which is why I was saying that this total yes, does look below par, completely agreed, but may not be too far behind in the match for India because there is a lot of seam movement here. You could see uneven bounce is the other thing that we have seen. You saw a lot of Indian players get hit. Rishabh Pant, I'm sure, would be sitting with an ice pack today, would have had multiple bruises on the body. Good on him, he stood there. So that uneven bounce is also going to come into the play. And thirdly, because of the green pitch that there is, previous test matches, because of roughness in the pitch, after 30, 35 overs, ball would stop doing much. Here, till 60, 65, 70 over, the ball will also continue to do because it remains new. The pitch is ensuring that there is no wear and tear on the ball. The nice lush green outfield is ensuring that. So
And the batters are as well.
yeah, because of the approach that you had. But let's see how. See, because
And
again,
this is live grass. It's not the kind
Correct,
of grass
not
that you
rolled
sort
over.
of not rolled over.
so with all that in mind, I think they will be in it. So a batsman is never really set. So India will always fancy their chances of picking up a wicket. That's where I think the game is. Before I get into the Indian batting, and I know a lot of you are waiting for it, a word on Scotty Boland. My question is he the greatest bowler on the planet not to have a fixed start in the playing 11?
I think yes.
Is there any bowler greater than him who doesn't start for his team? Because Boland does not. He's only playing because Hazelwood is. Can you think of any bowler across world cricket?
I think no one from South
I think
Africa
till
definitely.
some time back I could have said R. Ashwin. I mean, but different.
In just
bowler.
a few days back.
I could have said the greatest bowler who is not a 100% starter for his team was Ashwin. I think at the moment Boland is.
Absolutely.
He deserves the tag of the greatest bowler in current day cricket who doesn't start.
Yeah, maybe I would have gone with Sajid Khan, Pakistan, because he's not even made the cut for the squad in South Africa. But I think the
that's down to
sample size.
politics. That's also down to a lot
No,
of
no,
politics.
also because of the
that
conditions that South Africa not spin friendly. And also I think Sajid Khan, just one series that we are thinking about him, and Scott Boland has a bigger sample size. So yeah, even I think
yeah,
Scott
has
Boland.
to be like
yeah.
and the other travesty is poor guy made his debut 32 or something like that. Imagine a talent. Of course, because of the the bowling lineup that Australia had. I'm not saying that he was better than any one of them, but just imagine it reminds me of like a Michael Hussey who got to play much later because of the pack middle.
No, but he had made his ODI debut way back in 2016.
Yes,
yeah.
but then had to come back much later for his test debut, right? And similar for Boland. Any other country, he would have made his debut much earlier. And the kind of talent that he has got to make his debut much later. Again, spot on with his line. And as he has been throughout this series, very quiet, unassuming sort of a fellow, goes about his job. Perfect lines, length, workhorse, without complaining. And so for me, the greatest bowler in world cricket at the moment who doesn't start.
I think
we have a Scott Boland, but he's not traveling with the team. Mukesh Kumar.
Oh yeah.
Typically the same.
Yeah, but you can't compare.
Yeah,
him.
we can't compare them because Mukesh Kumar hasn't had the same kind of success. But I think style-wise,
Yeah, but
very
he can't
similar.
be the greatest bowler not playing.
Yeah, of course.
I think
can't be.
Scott Boland is basically a more. I think he's a better and a more refined version of Munaf Patel. More fitter and more. He can basically bowl onto that one spot again and again and again and be thoroughly consistent
Munaf
than
Patel
any
didn't
other.
have this clean action
very
like
different
Scott
bowler.
Boland.
But
has.
still, I think more fitter than Munaf Patel.
Yeah, a different sort of a bowler. Anyway, well done to Boland. That then takes me to the next question. One of the many wickets that he picked was that of Virat Kohli. What is happening? Is it now, 9 innings? Identical?
Absolutely.
Has it happened again? Any series like batsmen dismissed in identical
It's
fashion?
him only in England. 14.
No, but there also I think there
Rahul
was,
Dravid basically got dismissed around 4 to 5 times in a similar way in 2011 Border Gavaskar Trophy. Huge gap between bat and pad.
Ah.
An in-swingerian,
but 4
getting
5.
bowled.
This is 9.
About 5, 4 or 5.
9.
This is double to
Is it a
that.
new record?
Yeah. This must be a new record. Yeah.
9, 10. What is happening? Please decode for
I
us.
told you in the beginning only. How can you expect one man to do all the things for you? There are other batters in the team who need to step up as well now. He has other things to handle. How will he bat? He has to greater good of Indian cricket.
No, that is what you expect. Answer the question.
See, I'll just say one thing, and I think I've maybe had this kind of a discussion with you earlier also, that he's basically that sort of an employee that you can't get rid of despite him making the same mistake over and over again, because you know that you don't have anyone who is ready to take up that number 4 position. It's as simple as that.
No, I don't buy that. Firstly, Siddharth, I agree with you that because of the stature that Virat Kohli has, he will get a long rope. Okay? And so I don't think the thought of immediately dropping him exists. But I think if his form continues like that, I see no harm in having that conversation with Virat Kohli.
Yeah.
And that will include any top player in the world, and he is of course one of the greats of the game. I completely agree. So that conversation is to be had. But I never like this excuse that no, there is nobody else to take over the mantle. Yes, I know youngsters aren't doing well, but that's fine. That's how transitions happen. That's how you'll get a player. That's how you need to give a chance to whoever. If it's a Padikkal or a Sarfraz or a Jurel, whoever you have to give them chances, and they have to, go through their own circle on their own curve of cricket, just as Virat Kohli also went through it as a youngster, and he found his niche and he found his career path. Youngsters will have to be given a chance. So this I don't buy, that there is nobody. You'll have to try, and that's how you will discover a player. But yeah, may not be immediate time. But I think the issue with Kohli is that's what he needs to. What is really baffling, and I'm saying that anyone can have bad series. That's fine. You look into it. But had he been getting out in different fashion, then you could say, there was a time, by the way, we were very generous to Virat as well, that, he was being unlucky. A lot of times he was getting out. Sometimes, not just unlucky, there was sometimes he was actually getting some jaffers, like some outstanding
That
deliveries.
was during 2021 and 2022.
That's what I'm saying.
That was
So,
the last lump.
so that's what I'm saying, that there have been phases where we have looked at his, poor run differently. Sometimes, jaffers he's getting, sometimes he's been unlucky, sometimes he's just getting those kind of runs and the big score is away. But this time it's very different. This time we're talking about 9 innings and it hasn't rectified, and that I think is a more worrying sign. Had he gotten out to 3 or 4 different ways, it's another thing. Bad phase, runs just not coming. Here it is a problem. The opposition knows about it. The opposition bowls there, and the opposition is getting you out. Not once, not twice, but now 9 times in a row.
In a innings of 17 runs, thrice. Yeah. 3 chances he has given there. Come on.
Exactly my point. I mean, we'll get to that catch, and on your opinion on that catch, which could have been a golden duck, that's another thing. But I'm saying whenever he got out at 17, after having faced about 60 odd deliveries, my point is, see, what I would want, and this is, I did see him make a few changes. So instead of slightly open stance that he had in the previous test match in Melbourne, and if you remember, we discussed that here, that when we said that this problem is happening, change something. And I gave you an example that I'd spoken to him once where he spoke about he changed his bat tap, and then we said that I can clearly see him standing square on. Why doesn't he go a bit more side on? If the issue is outside off stump, go a bit more side on, have a more traditional side on stance. Why is he not doing it? I'm happy to note in this particular innings, he changed that stance. Yeah. So from side on, straight on, he went side on. There was a big difference, it was noted. And I thought, okay, great. There is some work that has gone in, and that's what you need, right? If there is a problem, you want to fix it. And I did see that. Despite that, he's getting out. And I think that's where somewhere, and this is also something we discussed, he needs to then acknowledge the outside noise. It's sometimes okay to eliminate the outside noise. It's a good thing, and that has worked for him in the past. But I think it's now time to open the doors and allow the outside noise to come in, which is telling him which is coming up with social media memes or whatever, that if he can let go of butter chicken or his favorite food, why can't he let go of the ball outside off stump, and so on and so forth. I think he will need to now go down that road where at the moment I agree that he's a very determined fellow. He says, no, I will find a way, and I will find a way to succeed. Doesn't matter what you're saying on the outside, which is fair. Those things have worked for him in the past. He's done well, great. But there comes a time where you say, no, I've tried everything that I could, and I've hit a dead end. I've hit a wall. I need to find. That's where you have to go to the outside noise. And if the outside noise is suggesting that, leaving the ball outside off stump, eliminating the drives completely and leaving the balls outside, which he had been practicing a bit more, giving it a much more conscious thought, spending time on the crease and doing it, then I think that needs to be done. Whatever needs to be done for him to get back to form, he'll have to do, whether it's suggestion from the outside or whether
I think it's just being about very adamant about it now, what I feel.
Okay,
because
but there has to be an end to when you
no, but that's clearly not happening, because at the end of the day,
is he being adamant or is he being stubborn? There's a difference.
Adamant, stubborn, both. I think he's
adamant
being stubborn.
Is basically used in more of a positive note.
Too stubborn. It's being about too rigid over here, and I think he's very adamant about scoring runs the way he wants to, no matter what. Okay. Again and again and again.
Okay, but when does that again stop? I agree. Okay, let's say whatever. You're trying to do a video, Shashwat, in your own way, and I say, no, this is not the right way. Do it that way. you say, no, I have done so many and it's worked. So you do it once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. There has to be a moment where you reach, where you have to tell yourself that, no, I'll have to change it. For example, Rohit Sharma, the talk of, him not playing or him being the weak link for the team had been going on and on. Eventually, it reached the point of this Sydney Test match where he had to opt out of a Test match. Others were also of the same opinion, whether it's the coach or what, he had to opt out. So that's what my point is. That fine, you believe in your method, it's worked for you for so long, you're adamant, stubborn, whichever way you look at it. When does that stop? When do you say, no, this problem is there and my methods aren't working?
I think
It should have stopped way back. I think it's already been prolonged way too much now. A couple of innings into the series, I think it should have been stopped then. But if till now it's not stopped, then I don't see it stopping either.
So
see
we'll continue to get out.
there
Till the
was
time he doesn't call quits, and at some days law of averages will catch up. At some point he will get those runs like he did in Perth, and that day everything will seem to be very fine. And then this string of low scores, and he'll continue to play because of the kind of stature he is in Indian cricket, and he might be the next Test captain.
I think now the path that Indian cricket has taken, and I don't say it from now, but I'm talking about the last year or so. And with a lot of players, some tough calls have been taken, which has reached nadir now with even Rohit Sharma being left out. I don't think it will be that easy. If runs aren't coming, that conversation will happen with him.
Yeah.
What does he see in the future? How long do you think they'll continue? I think the selectors or the coach, whatever there is, they will have that talk. By the way, just a reminder before I take Siddharth's opinion on this, that if you're wondering why we're not touching the elephant in the room, that is Rohit Sharma and his dropping. We have a special show coming your way at 3 o'clock where we're going to discuss that threadbare. 3 p.m. today, we'll go on for an hour discussing the inside details, the intricacies of what may have led to Rohit Sharma not playing the Sydney Test match. That's coming your way at 3 p.m. For this particular live, we are restricting ourselves to the Test match. Yes.
I think there is one of the incidents that happened in early 2000s, and we have talked about it a lot, to be very honest. And that was, the former India coach John Wright basically grabbing Virendra Sehwag by the collar and telling him that if you play that kind of a shot again, then I'm going to send you home. I'm not saying that you have to do. Gautam Gambhir has to do the same with Virat Kohli. That's not the case. But the point here is that somewhere it has to stop.
Enough controversies already.
Yeah, it's not like. See, I think maybe something has to be at stake. Something has to be told to him that, boss, if you get out in a similar fashion again, then there are going to be severe repercussions for that. So something really has to be.
He'll be given captaincy for the England tour. That's the repercussions that he'll have to face. That is true. That's exactly what's going to happen. We know it. Somewhere down. See again, 50. There are more than many chances now that he will be handed that captaincy over.
I don't think so.
No, I genuinely
don't
think so.
You think that he's going to be handed?
Yeah,
even I
it's
think
not
so.
going to be right. Not at all. Not even
How
1%.
can somebody be handed captaincy when his bat is not firing? Please tell me.
Because there is no other option.
No, of course. You are trying to come out of that exact situation where you are having to accommodate your captain in the 11, and your balance is going off, and you've taken this bold call of leaving out Rohit Sharma, and then you're going to go back into that same issue. I don't think that is going to happen.
He'll get this 1 century here and there, right? He will like he did in Perth.
No, if he's getting a lot of runs and he was in good form, good mental space, then I think there was nothing wrong in going back to a Virat Kohli. He's been a proven performer. He's done well in Test cricket. Maybe it was a right call, but no, not at the moment. I think you're going to be pulling yourself in a hole, and I'd be very surprised if the Indian think tank goes down that road. I'd be very surprised.
But then
I'm not going to bet like you, Shashwat, that I'll cut my hair. Or no, never. But I can still give you my word for it. I doubt that he's going to be back as captain. Not with the form that he's showing.
No, but again, he has that 1 century over here. He might get one more going into the next series, somewhere or the other, here or there. He gets one done, and I think that'll be more than enough.
No, I don't think so.
Then
That'll probably be enough for the host broadcaster.
so they are pointing towards that only. Very honestly, now also all this Test match, if you're not going to see him celebrating much more, because it will be shown much more by the broadcaster.
So you can be a regular member, not a captain, and still celebrate, and that can be shown.
No, but when there is no other captain,
Why not? What, Jasprit Bumrah is your captain now?
I would love that to happen. I
So
would
that will
pray for
continue.
that to
If
happen.
if they were going to go back, then that decision could have been taken in this test match. They've stuck with Jasprit Bumrah.
This test match, I don't think that Jasprit
I
Bumrah
think
vice captain.
there'll be
because he
talks
was there.
that will happen with both Bumrah and maybe to a certain extent with Kohli also. You really need to make sure that Bumrah continues to play for India across formats. His workload has to be managed, and a part of his workload management has to be the home test matches. You cannot really have Bumrah play all the matches that you, all the test matches that you play at home. So that's where I think you really need to make sure that whatever, whichever captain that you're selecting for the next couple of years or 2-3 years or so has to be a consistent part of your playing 11. And whether Bumrah is going to be a part of your playing 11 consistently for the next 2-3 years or so, not really sure about it. You will have to
If
rest
you
him
have
at
to
some
win a
point.
test match, you will have to have him in your playing 11. The day you decide I don't want to win a test match, then you rest him.
No, but how
That's the
long a
reality.
rope is this going to be for Virat Kohli? Because not getting runs now
No,
is a very big
I
problem.
think
He has 100. I think 167 were the runs before this test match. Just add 17 more to it.
I think as soon as this WTC cycle comes to an end for India, I think a lot of things are being put because you don't know what the scenario is for the WTC final, right? Hypothetically, if India don't make the cut for WTC final, then it's kind of an end to your cycle. I think conversations will be had with everyone, including Rohit Sharma, about his future. Whether he's already taken a call or he's about to, it's another matter. Even with Virat Kohli, I'm sure there'll be doubts raised about his form. I know that Virat, he is a certified legend, and so it's not going to be that he's dropped immediately. But I guess he probably, let's say India don't make the WTC final, you have the England series, and he'd be told that, listen, we're going to observe you there in the England series. And if runs aren't coming, then, maybe midway during the series, or you would be tempted. So at least that thought is in his mind that, there is somebody looking, when he looks back, there is somebody breathing down his neck. I think that conversation would be had. I think a lot of conversation would be had after this series. But also depends where the Indian team is. Okay, not just Kohli, what is the other batting lineup doing? KL Rahul, Shashwat's favorite player again, started off this series on a very good note, at least the first 2 test matches. Since then his form has also dipped.
And he's also getting out the same. I was about to get to this only, that because of certain Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, many batters were going under the radar. Nobody was talking about them. But even KL, that's why even in the previous test match, I think we have started to, the benchmark has come so low that mediocrity is sort of starting to look very good now. In the case of Shubman Gill and KL Rahul, the same. At the end of the day, when we are talking about that, KL Rahul has looked the best batsman for India till now in the whole series. Just look at the runs he's got, just 250s. If that's how you think that your best batter is going to have those numbers.
No, now it's Yashasvi Jaiswal who's your best batter.
Now it's Yashasvi
No, but
Jaiswal.
by the time you were saying he was the best batter, he was the second
he was
highest
saying
run
it
getter.
in the next previous game.
He
as
was
well.
the second highest run getter for your team.
Third,
Now I think he's third. Now
he was
he's
then,
third.
No, previous match also he was third.
Yeah.
After 100 by Nitish.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So that by that time you had dropped. But I agree with you that whole batting has been mediocre.
Very mediocre, and that's why we find a KL Rahul so good to be.
I think in a way you have wasted Sarfaraz Khan for that matter. You should have,
you
tried
decided
him.
yourself. Now we should not even be. It's such a shame that we have to talk about Sarfaraz and Abhimanyu Iswaran, 2 people. I don't even want to take their names with this batting lineup, very honestly, because they are unfortunate to be there in the tour. I think very unfortunate. Abhimanyu Iswaran specifically.
Not even getting a chance. The unfortunate bit is that they have no clarity what the future holds for them.
Exactly.
They have not even been spoken to. They don't even know. So today, if you're a Sarfaraz, you have no idea what is happening. Nobody has gone and told him that, okay, we're not playing him. And he's wondering, last series I hit 100 that I played, and everyone seems to get 2-3 matches after that also. I think he's still averaging more than 15 test cricket in test matches that he's played. And suddenly somebody has decided that he can't play in Australian conditions. And he's not been told that as well. He's just with the team. He just goes to the nets. He doesn't know whether he's in the scheme of things. We keep discussing who will be picked. Fine, you don't want to pick him is another thing, but at least there has to be this understanding why you're picking him, why you're not picking him. I'm guessing same would have been for Jurel. He did well in the A tour. He must be like, okay, I'm in contention. You played him in that one test match. After that, He's been discarded. He doesn't even know whether he's now in the scheme of things or not. So
So Jurel is at least a young guy. He knows that he's going to be the backup to Rishabh Pant moving ahead. Sarfaraz Khan is not a young man.
which
he's
is
a-
why
yeah.
I go back that when you have to move forward, you can't keep saying we don't have the next set. You will have to give them chance. If you think he's not good enough to be playing in Australian country, you don't pick him. No, why
Yeah,
are you
exactly.
picking people in the squad that you feel that they have certain issues with fast conditions, or which is also not true. It's someone's figment of imagination. Let us see it.
And he's suddenly gone out of contention because of the change in command as far as coaching is also concerned. Because till the time there was Rahul Dravid, I think he was going to be the front runner in the Indian team moving ahead after the England series. But as soon as this change in management has come, I think the whole thought process of how to approach Test cricket has completely changed. And in that approach, Sarfaraz Khan does not fit in properly.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. Shubman Gill, everyone felt bad that he was dropped, and Rohit Sharma now taking that call to have him back in the thing again. Soft dismissal, I'd say, just on the stroke of lunchtime.
Lunch, yeah. It wasn't required at all. He didn't really. I think there was no need to just come out of the crease and go for a big shot. He could have, just negotiated that delivery.
No,
and
I don't
India
think it was
going
for a
into-
good shot, big shot. I didn't think. I think that's how he
Whatever
placed when he
it
was
is.
trying to negate Nathan Lyon by
But that's not a shot
stepping
to-
ahead. Yeah, but I think just the angle it was away. He
I
sort
understand
of
how he
moved
got
in the
out,
line.
but that's not what you expect. See, he is the next guy in waiting now. All of us were here screaming host that unfortunate that he got left out. And now, so this can't be the performance that can in any way make him carry on, where you feel bad, oh, a senior player is playing and look at this talented young kid who's sitting out. He also has to then on occasion show. No? We also keep talking about, yes, he's had a good calendar year. Most of those runs came in India. If you go back to his last good Senna innings, you'll have to go back to
Australia.
Brisbane. But there'll have to be some moment where he also has to step, where he has to then justify this, that yes, there were people blocking him and it was unfortunate for him to be out.
It has to.
And that's part of discipline in Test cricket. That's
Yeah.
part of
He-
discipline batting.
He can't be carried forward for many more years to come just because he has that potential. And for how long? The same thing that I say for KL Rahul, that on the basis of potential you can't be playing for so long. And he's played a good amount of number of Test matches, and now it's time for him to step up, which he clearly isn't being able to do. And he was dropped. The so-called the Prince of Indian cricket has been dropped from some Indian team or the other twice in the last 1 year. First from the T20 side, now from the Test side once. So then he's not justifying it at all. And in no time, people will forget. Yashasvi Jaiswal is emerging like a full proper batsman, a full proper, somebody who can take Indian cricket forward. And people will stop talking about Shubman Gill then, and there'll be nothing else for him to lose then.
Before we take your questions, two big debates: the catch, Virat Kohli catch, and then the Ravindra Jadeja.
Washington Sundar.
Oh, sorry, Washington Sundar catch.
I think in case of Virat Kohli, to be very honest, I think it did look that the ball touched the ground, and although Smith has said that it's 100% clean catch, but by the I think with the naked eye it did look that it touched the ground. So any which ways, I think a good decision by the umpire. And I think in case of Washington Sundar, a little unlucky, just like maybe Yashasvi Jaiswal was. But then once again, it does goes on to show that the Snicko has been very inconvincing, this series in the last two Test matches or so. In case of Jaiswal also, third umpire, there was obviously, he felt that, there's a deflection that he could see with the naked eye. That when, technology became redundant and Jaiswal was given out. In this case also, there was a spike, but then the ball was nowhere near to the glove. So, and if you look at the the horizontal angle, I think for that matter, that's when it showed that the ball is very much close to the glove, and it's maybe, there's a slight nick there. So that's where I think this is a little confusing, to be very honest. Technology hasn't really been that convincing in the last two Test matches. But yeah, in case of Virat Kohli, that dismissal, I think, which could have basically been a dismissal, I think it was a good call by the umpire.
I think the catch was taken over there in the first Virat Kohli scenario as well, because half of his hand was underneath the ball. The rest of the half ball was touching, but that too after the catch was cleanly taken. He lifted up in the air, and then Lebus Kakne ended up taking that catch. So even I think it wasn't the right call, and that's exactly how cricket does. Such half calls do tend to go either ways usually. So that's why but I personally, by the naked eye, thought that it was taken. Half ball definitely was touching the ground, but half of the ball was under his hand as well. So that's why I think, according to that, it was a clean catch.
The Steve Smith catch for me out. That was
Clean catch, no?
that was a clean catch out. I know a lot of you will see it in a still image or slow motion. It'll give you that, you know, an idea that it's touched the ground, but it's not. And I've explained this in our previous broadcast. It's the parallax error that comes because your cameras are at a higher height and you're filming something that's low on the ground. Cameras cannot be in the same eye level, low ground. It's not possible, logically possible, which is why it creates a parallax error. So whenever you see it on top, and also remember the pitch is a bit higher than the ground, so there's a slope all the time from the pitch going into the thing. So whenever you see it from the top, it creates that parallax error where it seems like it's touching the ground. To me, Smith had taken that catch cleanly. His hands were underneath that. Probably if he had held on to the catch, they would have given it out as well. I guess maybe not. So there I would say the Australians were unlucky, but I think they got lucky in the Washington Sundar bit. Because once again, I don't think there was enough conclusive evidence for the third umpire to overturn the on-field umpire's decision. Had the on-field umpire given it out, it's another thing. Again, that spike was not necessarily from the spike of the glove, because that movement is pretty much the same. In fact, there is a higher movement when it's gone past.
Yeah.
But then that, I don't think it's got anything to do with the touch. That much movement is always there on the sticko. And even visually, you really can't see the ball touching. So I think Sundar also unlucky with the decision, just as I think India got lucky with the previous decision. But at the end of the day, I guess evens out. You're not in this position based on any of those decisions, but just tells you a lot needs to be done to work on that technology. Here's another reminder before we take your questions on the Rohit Sharma episode and him dropping. We've done a special show that's coming your way in an hour and a half from now at 3 p.m. India time. So do tune in for that. Okay. Dhanush.
This was Virat's last test. KL bats well, averages below 35 this BGT. Would Sachin score 241 on this green SCG track? Stark better than Brett Lee, Cummins better than Gillespie, Boland better than Nathan Bracken, Nathan Lyon
No.
better than Stuart
This is
McGill.
all a lot of conjecture, Dhanush. I'm sorry. But you're saying as if Sachin Tendulkar hasn't played tough bowlers on green conditions. Yeah, come on. Yeah, he's got hundreds in Cape Town against Alan Donald and co. So
Sean Pollock, Dale
so
Steyn and all, yeah.
please, yeah, please. So not to say that, but I don't think this is his last test match for Virat. I don't agree with that as well.
He's not somebody who will leave so easily.
That's rather mean.
No. I mean,
Why
that
should he leave?
What I'm trying to say is that he's not somebody who will give up so easily.
So
Yeah.
use the right
I'm using that.
right words.
Shubham Garg has a comment. This pitch reminds me of Australia versus South Africa, Brisbane 2022. Similar looking spicy pitch was there, 200 versus 200 in first innings, South Africa 99 all out in the third innings.
Possible. It could be like that. To me, it gave the Perth feel because it's just very recent. Nah? And who knows? That's why I said never judge a pitch until both teams are batted. I still think slight advantage to Australia, but it could still be a close game. If India bowls well and the conditions that are on offer, seam movement, up and down, bounce, who knows? It could be anybody's game.
India bowls well or Bumrah bowls well?
But India is Bumrah. Why Siraj? I hope he can play the...
Yeah, even I hope so. So
Pawan,
because there are
let's
many
slow down.
questions are on him also after this series. If he
I'm
doesn't
not
do
expecting much from Sundar or Reddy with the ball.
well. Yeah.
So. Rakesh Bhushan says, Virat Kohli on the field antics aggression was backed by performance with the bat. Only antics is not doing good to him and this is affecting his batting. He needs scores in testing conditions. At the moment, he's a liability, he feels. Yeah, I mean, he's not scoring. I think you've summed it up there. Interesting point that he makes that, you know, those antics, aggression look good when runs were coming. When runs don't come, then even that doesn't look very nice. See, bullying a 19-year-old. Come on.
Shubham Garg has a comment. Not driving ball simply means no offside runs for Virat. He doesn't cut it. This Australian attack is not giving him balls on pads, so no chance for Virat.
No, but till how long will they give balls to Virat on the wickets. At some point, they will also have to go to plan B if Virat stops leaving the balls outside off stump. Let them bowl to him. They will also get tired. He also will grind it out for more hours, more hours, more hours. It's not. There's nothing to lose anyways. So it's better to wait for them to go to second plan. In Perth, was it when he got that 30, 40 odd runs? There also, I think he had that opportunity. They sort of did go to plan B and then he started to score those runs. So I don't see any reason for not being able to leave the runs
I think a
outside of
little
stump.
bit of credit has to go to, or in fact, more credit has to go to Australian bowlers also. They are really ready with their plans for both Virat Kohli and Rishabh Pant for that matter. I think in case of Rishabh Pant too, whenever he has come on to the, bat, Pat Cummins is the first one to get the ball in his hand and just deliver those overs at a very consistent rate. Look, he's bowling on that one spot again and again just to make sure that Rishabh Pant doesn't really get to free his arms. He's making sure that that good length area is being hit consistently. So that's one thing that I feel that Australia in a way have done so well. Shubham Karga has another comment that if Virat was after captaincy, he would have never left it. He had upcoming 10 home test matches. When he left, would have broken Graham Smith's record of most test win.
No, I think there's been a lot of change in time since then to now, so that's why I think there's been a big change in that. Maybe at that time things weren't up for him, but now because of the situations that are there, I wouldn't be surprised if he would have been wanting captaincy.
Yeah, absolutely. But then I think it's not really about the fact that whether he wanted to give up the captaincy or not. But I think in case of both Virat, I think he could have definitely broken the Graham Smith's record. So that's definitely about it. I think let's just maybe take a couple of more comments. Pranit Datta has a comment that Shashwat, why do you want to make Kohli captain based on his the report that's doing the rounds? It's Bumrah who should be captain, followed by Pant as vice captain, who showed great maturity today.
I to never even once said that I want to make him captain. Absolutely don't want to make him captain. I hope you've seen the chat before. Just go behind a bit and you'll get to know. And also the Rohit Sharma show that you say, you'll clearly come to know.
Okay. Kevin Abraham has a comment that Shashwat will not give up easily. Perhaps time to. Is he referring to the Virat thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Pawan, let's just take a couple of more comments.
Some people take it too personally,
Yeah. Let's go up. Yeah. So Daniel M has a comment that Constas lives rent-free in Indian minds like obviously he has gotten under Indian players' skin. Siddharth has a comment that Virat since 2020 hasn't really been the best batter. You cannot really compare him to the generation greats like Root, Kane Williamson, Smith. White ball, but I feel batting prowess judged by test only. Obviously, test cricket is the purest format and you really want to judge a batter by the kind of performances that he or she, puts in that particular format. So yeah, Virat's form, or in fact, his test average has been reduced from 55 to 46 now. So that in a way is obviously surprising and obviously is not at par with the likes of Joe Root, who is obviously improved as a batter since 2020. So I think that's about it.
You guys please do tune in at 3 p.m. sharp when we will be having the special show on Rohit Sharma where we have talked in depth about what would have led to him not being part of this team of the final test match, and also what future holds for him, for the Indian team, and everything that's going on in the Indian team. So do subscribe for that. Do not forget to press the subscribe button and the bell icon, because as soon as that show is up, you will get to know the first hand itself.
So yeah, until then, on behalf of Shashwat, Nikhil and our humble producer Pawan, it's Siddharth Gulati saying goodbye.